Coming up next on Channel 6 television, Grassy Roots with Dr. Jim Carey and Beth Overgaauw. A show which will guide you down paths to healthier living by simply adjusting your eating habits. Stay tuned to Channel 6 for Grassy Roots. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Grassy Roots here on Channel 6 television. I'm Beth Overgaauw, and I'm here with Dr. Jim Carey. Hello. And we're going to share with you some more tips and theories and recipes about changing your lifestyle and improving your health by eating a raw vegan menu based
raw
on
living foods.
Raw living food.
But yes,
right.
It's vegan and it's uncooked.
That's right.
Today, Beth, I'd like to share with you the issues of dealing with family.
Oh yeah.
What do your kids think about how you've been eating?
Well, they don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't want to try it.
Yeah.
My mom did. She drank a smoothie, but my daughter went, ooh, you know.
Well, your kids don't live at home either, and that
No.
makes it easier.
That's true.
Yeah. Number one, being a mom, and I saw this a lot at Creative Health Institute. Many times mom needs the living foods lifestyle because of her health challenge. She went to the Institute, she did the 2-week program, she felt this vast improvement. She comes home and I'm going to be raw. Now what are you going to do with family?
Well, I would probably be the type to try to get them to join me in this adventure,
Mm-hmm.
but then that might backfire too.
Yeah, and you end up in full revolt. The common thing, I mean, the most successful thing I have seen is, and this is a challenge, but is to go ahead and fix the foods that they've been used to, but still fix your foods and eat with them, and always make extra, always make plenty, because the kids, especially the younger they are, the more they're going to be interested in what mom's food is. Okay, and you can ease them in. As first as mom's crackers are really good.
Yeah.
As you saw the experimenting you did with flax crackers a couple weeks ago and putting in goodies. The kids love that stuff.
Right.
And you bring the kids along gently. I have one friend that the kids were 10 and 12 when she went raw, and maybe 8 and 10. And they were real interested in mom's food, and over the course of maybe 3 months, she changed their diet to where they were eating what she was eating. Dad, of course, he had to have his meat potatoes, but Dad had more health challenges than anybody else in the family. Mom finally said one day is, hubby, you need this as much as I do. You can eat anything you want outside the house, because on Monday morning the whole family's going raw, and over the weekend she gave away all the
Utensils and stuff?
well, all the stuff she wasn't going to need. Put a piece of wood over top of the stove, gave away all the canned goods, gave away all the roasts in the freezer, gave all the food away, and stocked up. And Monday morning they were raw, and Dad grumbled, and Dad ate what he did, he started having his big meal at lunchtime when he was gone.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea anyhow.
Oh, sure.
Eating big meals, these big suppers that we have in America, they sit on our stomach all night long. So he was doing better. He was getting a raw breakfast. Then he had already discovered the green smoothies weren't bad.
Right.
One secret is you throw extra bananas in when you're starting somebody, or apples. I mean, not bananas every day. Your potassium levels can get sky high. That happened to my stepfather.
Oh.
I'm like, he goes to the doctor, and his blood sugar, his diabetes, his fasting blood sugar was doing great with just one green smoothie a day. He was really doing great. His insulin consumption was way down, but his potassium was sky high. And Mom called me up and said, blah, blah, blah. And I go, Mom, you're supposed to use more than one recipe. Hi, Mom. So she, it's about using apples one day and pears another, and go through a rotation. So Mick's doing a lot better. But basically what I'm saying with your family is you lead by example. But like we talked about last week in the 12 steps, we don't get confrontational with cooked fooders. We don't make an issue of it. many parents that I've met, the kids are raw at home. But when they're at school, they eat with the kids. Okay? They have the pizza with pepperoni and everything else. So they're raw at home. But you know what happens over time? I met some raw kids that went raw. I mean, when they were 5 or 6, mom went raw. And they're 25 and 30 now. And they grew up with this lifestyle. And what would happen is after a few years of eating that way with mom, at school, they started looking for the vegan options.
Okay.
And typically they would go through cycles. I remember this one little girl, she was 16, she was gorgeous, she'd been raw since she was 6. And she had gone through cycles. She had been 100% raw for a couple of years, but then different friends, different group, different school. Maybe she was eating cooked food at school, but it was 100% raw at home. And it was 100% raw sometimes. And you know, when the body's younger like that, it heals itself quicker anyhow. I think it's a lot less critical. As long as the child isn't obese, doesn't have diabetes, doesn't have all these adult diseases at a young age, if they're staying active, you know, the body deals with eating cooked foods.
Well, you know, I taught kindergarten for 20 years, and it always surprised me when I learned that some of these 5-year-old children had never in their life seen a plum.
Yeah.
Or they'd never even thought of eating a celery stick raw, you know, and their mom may have not even ever bought.
The one we're finding now is exercise and playing. There's actually an organization in California that's going national next year that they go off to preschool and kindergartens and teach kids how to play games like dodgeball and kickball and jump rope.
The old games that we used to play as kids.
Kids don't know how to play.
But
they grow up in the house.
The point I was making is that a parent can use teaching these foods as a game with their children.
Oh, totally,
at home,
totally.
You know? And even if it might stretch your budget a little bit one week, the next week you can buy something different. But learning to eat a green bean raw.
Yeah.
How many bites can it take to finish one green bean? You know,
letting kids participate in food prep. When we're talking under 5 years old, or under 7, somewhere around 7 or 8, then it becomes them versus the parents.
Right.
But at that younger age, you get them involved because they're not going to get burned on the stove. The stove's been unplugged or removed. And you know, you don't let them play with the food processor and a few things. But there's a lot of safe recipes, and they can do the mixing bowl thing, make their own crackers, make their own cookies, help load the dehydrator.
Well, we'll just have to do a couple of those recipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an idea.
So playing. But here's the important part about dealing with family. Number one, like I keep saying, you never justify yourself. This is what I do. Recognize that your family is going to say it's just the phase you're going through. Because they've seen you go through, they saw you get the guitar that you haven't picked up in 8 years, they saw you take piano lessons, they saw you be a ballerina for a while. It's just another phase like your ballerina and tap dancing phases, right? And it will be for them, but over time, and my own son, my brothers, and my parents are great examples. Because when I started doing this, I went to my dad's one night, and supper was chicken and dumplings and pumpkin pie. There was not any salad.
Not a vegetable?
There was not a salad fixin' in the house. There was no fruit, no veggies in the house, none.
Wow.
But here, 6 years later, the cheese drawer, they had a wondrous cheese drawer collection. The cheese drawer is empty, no cheese. Lots of fruits and veggies. And it's not through one thing I said. It was, they watched me lose 80 pounds. They saw the difference in my attitude. They saw the energy I had. They saw how my life was going. So by my example and through no words I said, did it change anything? Now, it's always great when your sister or your sister-in-law calls you up and says, can I get some books and videos about what you've been doing, Uncle Jim? Or nieces, you know? And, oh yeah, if you want a book, here you go. Here's 5 pounds of material. Well, I want to be careful not to overload them, actually. It's wondrous when they ask, but right down through not only my dad, but my brother, my sisters, my son, the cheese drawers are empty or virtually empty. And there's lots of fruits and veggies. They've all taken it to heart. Not for one thing I said, but just because I led by example. And it's been 6 years, and it's still ongoing. But I did not get in debates with them. I didn't justify it. But my stepmother said that and she's a LPN, so she's got all the answers. I'm sure she's not going to see this video. That diet will make you anemic.
Oh.
Well, I said, okay, I'll take that in consideration, Mom. And that's where I left it. I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to debate it.
Well, you have to respect their point of view as well. I mean, they're coming from a different place than you are. Their life has been gone down a different path, and when they're ready to see this as a viable option, it'll hit them like a brick.
And those their social mores, the things we believe because society has taught us to believe it, says you need meat for protein. Well, we discussed that a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
You need this, you need that, and it's the things people believe, rightfully or not. So you accept that. That's where they're coming from now. But you go on, you make your own choice, you live your own choice. Like Bill M. that we met, he does his own food prep. He went raw 20 years ago for his brother's sake, for his brother's health challenge, and they got involved with living foods, and he looks great. And his wife's a cook fooder, so she does her meals, he does his. And they've been doing that, wasn't it 20 years, he said?
Well, it's been a while.
He's 72 now, and I think he said it was 20 years ago.
50s or so. Yeah.
So those are, you work out these compromises. But what was neat is that, his wife says, yeah, Bill always did eat funny.
Yeah, he did. She did say that.
But she accepts him for him. She doesn't say, you need to do this and be like me. She says, I love you despite how you eat. I love you for you. And he says the same to her. In 20 years, she's seen the difference in his health, but she's a cook fooder. She was a cafeteria lady. She was a cafeteria lady in the school system, in a Catholic school.
There's humor to be found in sharing this lifestyle too,
That's what it should be.
So that's part of the fun too. People crack a joke and
the self-deprecating humor is the funniest kind. What you got for supper there, Jim? Oh, I just eating rabbit food again tonight. Just make it light of it, and good phrases to remember. Not so much with family, but with friends. When somebody offers you a nice piece of cake or something, bear in mind, number one, that they offered you this out of love.
Sure.
Okay. So you need to respect that, and you say, "Boy, that really looks good. I really appreciate all the work you put into that. Okay, that is beautiful cake. But my doctor wouldn't like it if I ate that." Because what did Dr. Wigmore say?
Be your own doctor.
Be your own doctor, right. So my doctor, me, wouldn't like it if I ate that.
Right.
Never go somewhere hungry.
That's
okay,
true.
When you're going out to visit family, friends, eat before you go.
And that's true whether you're a raw living foods vegan or not. You really shouldn't go somewhere hungry. You shouldn't go shopping hungry. You shouldn't go.
Well, I'm talking about going out to a restaurant hungry.
Yeah, don't
and like we
right.
talked last week, if you can turn social settings from food to something else, that's wondrous. But in my case, at the family barbecue, and that's what it's going to be, is lots of cooked meat. But my brother's got it over that side of the backyard, and I gravitate over here. Anybody wants to socialize with me is way away from the food.
Oh.
Okay, and I just try to remove food from the socialization.
Oh.
And because if you stand around the barbecue, you're going to consume twice as many hot dogs and hamburgers.
Well, yeah. It's like if you drive by certain chicken or steak houses or restaurants, you smell that chicken and you smell that steak, and it triggers.
Yeah. Well, Famous Amos made his money by putting vanilla flavoring into the air of the mall.
Oh, did he now? I did not know that.
Oh yes, it was part of the marketing.
Huh.
Yeah. So they do that intentionally, is what I'm saying. The big fan of blowing KFC out the door. So, not justifying ourselves, not socializing around food, if food is involved, eating our meals before we go, and just making light of it. These little things will help us deal with family, and just recognize that they think it's just a phase you're going through. But over time,
they
start saying, gosh, Dan, I weigh more than you used to. And now tell me again how you lost all that weight. That was my own son. That was great. It was a wondrous moment.
So, the best of your knowledge, is his diet changed too?
His diet is changing. He's getting there. But he's still bigger than I was. But at least he gave up smoking.
Well, that's good.
And that's where the weight loss came from. So, but he asked for some books. He asked for some videos. They watched them. I check around the house on my next visit, is that still sealed up? You know, because when I find the video still sealed in the plastic, I repossess them. I'll give them to somebody who appreciates them. But when they've been opened, when they're sitting out on top of the TV, I go, aha. But I won't say anything unless he asks me. I won't say anything till they ask me. I won't say anything till they ask me. I won't say anything till they ask me.
And you know,
You can't pick it up in front of them.
It might be a good idea not to push yourself forward as an expert on the subject, and you said don't explain yourself, you don't have to.
Right.
But if someone questions you on it and wants some answers, then we have all kinds of resources to send them to. We've got the websites.
Well, the websites, books, videos, articles. The beauty of all that is that if I try to have a discussion with somebody about the advantages of the lifestyle, you know, most people in conversation are just waiting for their turn to talk. Okay, so when you try to have this conversation, they want to debate each point.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But when you put a video on, you know, the brain shuts down within 3 minutes and goes into hypnosis state. Just exactly the same as hypnosis. And the data goes directly to the memory cortex, bypassing the frontal lobe. In other words, they sit there and they'll watch the TV for 90 minutes. Put a video on, let them watch the video. In effect, you've had your say first. Now, I'd be glad to discuss what we saw in the video.
Sure. Well, and you're so well versed in all this. You've been doing this for a while. You've been teaching it. You would be one that someone could talk to and ask questions. But beginners, you know, it's best to refer to someone else, or refer to a book, or refer to the website, refer to a video.
I still do.
Yeah.
I'm just a teacher of Dr. Ann's philosophy.
Yeah.
I've invented nothing. I'm an editor, not a writer. But yes, over the course of years, it's become easy for me to discuss this. But you know, it comes over time.
Sure.
And it comes by watching those videos again. Okay, because any video I've sat down and watched with somebody that was curious, that was the second time I saw it, or the 8th time I saw it. And over the course of time, this stuff will stick, and you'll learn. One reason I made the home study program so video-based is that we learn better through video. Like I say, television, videos, it does. The frontal lobe shuts down, it goes directly to memory cortex, but that's how we learn. That's why I'm really careful about what I put on my television. You know, you've seen that in the studio. I was like, I don't watch that stuff. You know, that's acid making. I don't want to put my consciousness in that stuff because I know how my brain works. But that's not to say I don't do video. I do it a lot. It's a great way to learn. I could have taken that home study program and made an encyclopedia like that instead. Who'd read it? Who'd read it? But 38 DVDs, oh wow, 38 DVDs. That's one a week for 9 months. I mean, that's a lot of material there, and it's just as we talked about support group.
You don't have to learn it overnight.
Right.
You know.
And like we said, support group. Those videos become your support group. That's why you get. When people buy the home study program, they get free health coaching. The health coaches are the ladies that are in most of the videos. Marianne Moore and Hiawatha Cromer. Why? Because people feel like they know them by now. So I approached them and asked if they would do the coaching, and they said, glad to, because they've become friends. And I get the same thing too. I feel like I know you.
So if you find yourself more and more raw curious, check out GrassyRoots.com. Follow some of the leads to the videos, to ChiDiets.com, to any of the websites that you find within GrassyRoots.com for more information, and do your research and feed that curiosity. It doesn't hurt to check it out, and you might find learn something you just didn't know before. And we really appreciate you tuning in to Channel 6 Television for Grassy Roots, and hope that you will continue to watch us in the weeks to come.
Thank you, Beth. You put that very well. Goodbye.
Stay tuned for more Grassy Roots after these words from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Carey, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program. Dr. Ann's program has been taught for over 50 years around the world at a half a dozen institutes. Normally you spend 2 weeks and you learn to do the program. However, when I was director of Creative Health Institute, I found that after you go home, you've been home for 6 months, a year, all that knowledge starts to fade. There's a need for being able to refresh your memory and a need for keeping inspired. So, over the course of the last 6 years, I put together a home study version of Dr. Ann's program, and this is it in front of you. I know, it's a lot. It's a 304-page handbook. It covers everything from the kind of water to drink, through energy soup, to how you combine your foods. There's a 180-page recipe book that covers everything from a raw breakfast through a raw dessert after supper and everything in the middle. Even has Thanksgiving dinner, an all-raw Thanksgiving dinner with mock turkey. Her basic program is in this 10 DVD set right here. But as you get into it, you get into questions, and you know, it's always like about having a second opinion, about having more details, and that's what the rest of this program is. Over here we have the advantages of eating raw, a video I did, one by Paul Nissan, a couple by Victoria Butenko, including her famous one, Greens Can Save Your Life. That's a 3-hour video. I know it's Victoria's #1 seller. This is all part of the home study program. A couple videos on wheatgrass, a couple videos on sprouting and gardening, a number of videos about Rejuvelac, lightly fermented foods, and energy soup. A couple more Dr. Ann videos, her TV interview. These 4 here are all about the benefits of the lifestyle. This one called Program Review, for example, is an overview of the program at Creative Health Institute. Enzymes in food, living foods preparation, raw parenting, which is important to many people. Student testimonials, colon health, transitioning to raw foods, food combining with Dr. Pfeiffer. It's as thorough as I've been able to make it in the last 6 years. Oh, and I almost forgot, 2 of Dr. Ann's books on tape, read by a professional radio announcer, Steve Molkevitz, a naturopathic doctor that happens to believe in Dr. Ann, so that shows in his voice. I mean, that's a 5 CD set, the other's a 3 CD set. This is the most thorough thing you will ever see to learn about Dr. Ann's raw living foods lifestyle. It's available at SheDiet.com, and actually, when you go to the website, you'll find there's even more bonuses over and above this. Thank you.
Looking for a comprehensive guide on the subject of the raw foods lifestyle? Susan Shang has written an encyclopedia on the subject, The Live Food Factor. This comprehensive guide to the ultimate diet for body, mind, spirit, and planet covers every possible factor related to the subject. This compilation has received rave reviews by those in the raw foods movement. Visit www.livefoodfactor.com for your copy. The Live Food Factor by Susan Shang.
You're not going to cook anymore? How will I live?
I didn't say that I wasn't going to cook for you anymore. I said that I wasn't going to cook the vegetables anymore. And I said we're going to cut back on the red meat for a while.
Where in the world did you get this idea?
I've been reading some of the articles that are posted on rawdoctors.com, and they make a lot of sense. You've got aches and pains, I got high blood pressure, and it's time that we did something about our health. So this is what I'm going to do. Come on, do it just for a little while, sweetie.
To learn what Susan has learned and more, visit rawdoctors.com. And now, back to Grassy Roots on Channel 6 TV with Beth Overgaauw and Jim Carey.
Hello, Jim. We're in the kitchen again, and I hear you're going to share a dessert tonight.
Don't you ever change that green shirt?
I like it.
I think it's
Grassy
a neat shirt.
Roots here.
Yeah, this
Grassy
apron you gave
Roots
me the other
apron,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, that's neat stuff.
It made it a whole lot easier to dress for these shows, to have a t-shirt every week.
And it doesn't show the stains.
True.
That's what I like about green clothing, green aprons, is you don't show the wheatgrass and all the green salad stains. White is not the color to choose.
No.
What I've got today, Beth, are quick and simple desserts. Okay, it's especially, kids love it, but great-grandpa will love this too.
Okay.
And simple things. I have here avocado. And this one cut up is what I call Florida avocado, the smooth-skinned ones. This is a California avocado, the alligator pear ones. Reality says whatever you find in the store and whatever is ripest. They should be a little soft to the touch. They're usually really green in the store. And I really don't need that at the moment.
Okay.
All I need to do to make a pudding, or, this could be a pudding, or I'm not quite sure what you'd use it for, but if you make it a little looser, it's a sauce. Every sauce is a soup, is a pudding. It's about how thick you make it, right? So, when I buy bananas at the store, I look for as yellow as I can find.
Right.
I love it. They have signs up about buy green bananas.
Yeah.
I know people that won't eat them if they're not green. That's a salesmanship thing about eating unripe fruit. Okay, the sugars and the vitamins, the things aren't mature and ready to eat until the banana looks like this.
Right.
Now, sometimes I luck out, and especially when they're on produce day and they're pulling these off the shelf, and I go, oh, how much for the ripe ones? And I go, 10 cents a pound.
A lot cheaper.
And then all of a sudden, I'm living on things like this because I've got avocado in the blender, and I'm just going to take a half banana because these are these little one-use personal blenders. A half of a nice ripe banana, and in there, and put that on your go-to-towner machine.
Quick and easy. Quick and easy.
Took longer to talk about than it does make it.
Look at it go.
That's good that avocado wasn't really ripe. Yeah. Another couple days on the avocado would have been good.
It's about done though. It's not
That's
popping
it.
up
It's done. Try it.
too much. Okay. All right, we need spoons.
I got spoons right
Oh,
here.
look at that. That's beautiful. Such a pretty color. Smells
Good thing you
good.
guys do so many cooking shows.
You want to go first?
I'll clean the blades.
Be careful.
I didn't come close to it with my finger. I'm still healing from the other week.
I love it.
Yeah, bananas. Bananas.
That would make a good sandwich. You know, I used to eat peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I would like this on a sandwich. On bread.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Like I say, every pudding is a sauce, is a soup, is a, yeah.
And this is fruity.
Yeah. Well, you're enjoying that. I'm gonna move this little guy out of the way.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. And the garnish was the blueberries that I just knocked over.
Well, three's good. Save.
Save it for the next one, right?
There we go.
And we take another one of these cups.
Or you can do a strawberry. Or
I'll
any
take
kind
some of these, mostly ripe. I found this, I think this was, one side of that was riper than the other. And we'll take a bunch of
Oh, this is good.
avos again. And I got a funny critter here.
What you got?
I had to cut it in half just because crew was asking so many questions. This is a papaya, okay?
I've heard about papayas.
Yeah. And all you do, cut them in half and scoop out the seeds. And this is a nice ripe one. That was the other reason I cut it in half before the show. Yeah, after fighting with these avocados, I can't seem to find a raw avocado in central Kentucky this week.
Now, are those seeds edible?
Right. No, these aren't considered an edible seed. I'd have to look it up. I don't imagine they'd hurt you. And even for seeds that you shouldn't eat, if you eat them with the fruit, the antidote is in the fruit. It's like apple seeds. You should never eat dried apple seeds. But deer eat the whole apple. Horses, cows. Why? The antidote for the apple seed is in the fresh apple. But we just never, I never looked into this one. We just never considered it
Well, they're not
edible.
available all year long, I don't think.
No, they're seasonal
Papayas,
produce
yeah.
and they're imported. And
Before you blend it, I'd like
you wouldn't want to
taste
eat
it.
papaya seeds. They're very bitter.
Did you just?
Now we know the answer. And that's why everybody seeds them. Okay?
I want to taste it before you blend it with, because I've never had a papaya.
The seeds are very bitter. So now we know. You never had papaya before?
No,
Oh, this is a romantic.
very mellowy.
I got this at the local supermarket right here in Lebanon.
It's juicy too.
Oh yeah, there's lots of juice. Yeah, they're a real nice juicy fruit.
So we've got avocado, papaya, and if you want to, were you going to put a banana in there too?
Oh, actually, you're cutting to my big finish.
Oh,
but you're right, and you're thinking ahead. Is there's no reason you can't combine the three. That was going to be my big finish. It's my secret recipes that's not in the book.
and this one. There it goes. That baby's done. And And there you have an orange color, so you can play with colors with the kids, you know? Okay, let's taste it.
Dum, dum, dum.
Mmm.
Gotta remember that's got
It's so
blueberries in there
good.
too. Yeah, those blueberries ended up getting ground up. It's a shame there's only enough for the two of us.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
You can make one of these at home all by yourself. It's good.
So, what do you think, Beth?
I love it.
Treats for the kids? I mean, this isn't just dessert.
No, it's healthy.
This is after school treats.
And
Think
it was
about
quick.
Yeah, it's quick and it's easy, and the kids can make it themselves. These little things are safe to use.
Now,
You
which
know?
did you like better? The one that had the banana or the one without the banana?
I normally like the papaya avocado, except that the avocado was riper, and I didn't change my taste buds with the banana first. That's
yeah.
what made it taste funny, was that sweetness. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because banana, dietary variety is important. You start doing a banana smoothie every morning, or a green smoothie with a banana, and after a while, if you get a blood test, you find your potassium sky high.
Oh, yeah.
Your blood sugar is good, but your potassium sky high. So that's why it's not a banana smoothie every morning. It's easy to get trapped in the throw a banana into everything.
True.
So that's why I look for these variations like papaya, avocado, because raw fooders tend to eat too many nuts, eat too many bananas. There's these little pitfalls you fall into. So getting that variety in. No, papaya is another. It's not a locally grown, harvested, went fresh, but it gives you that dietary variety. And that's important, okay? That outweighs the fact that it wasn't grown locally.
And it's a different color. I paint, so I get into the colors.
And the colors come up. And this would have been nice and orange, except that I tossed the blueberries in there, so it darkened it up. Because the blueberries are supposed to be a garnish.
Right.
But all these things make it fun. And while it's a great cop-out to say it's fun for the kids, it's fun for us. And if food isn't fun for us, if it turns into drudgery, then you're going to go back to eating out of a microwave tray.
This is true.
You're killing your body.
This is true.
So food should be fun. And these are quick and easy.
Cheers. You ought to try this sometime.
Aloha.
Stay tuned for more Grassy Roots. Want to learn more about a raw living foods lifestyle? There's a wide collection of videos on the subject at ChiDietVideos.com. You can find a video on any subject that suits your interest and your budget, including rare footage of Dr. Ann Wigmore's raw living food lifestyle programs. This knowledge could change your life. Check out ChiDietVideos.com.
One of the best things terrorists could do is just build more fast food restaurants, maybe add another pharmaceutical company, have a couple more infomercials, and encourage people to eat the way they eat now. And everybody's going to be dead in 100 years. They can just walk right in, don't have to do a thing.
Superstars, large fry, Big Mac, Coca-Cola, go on, man, pick your poison.
1/4 of what you eat keeps you alive, and 3/4 of what you eat keeps your doctor alive.
I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food they sold me.
Cancer rates going up, heart disease going up, stroke going up.
We're poisoning ourselves with highly processed, nutrient-depleted foods.
One of the major problems is what we do to the soil and the air and the water and everything we take in our food.
We, for whatever reason, decided we're going to spray everything with every kind of pesticide, herbicide, larvicide, fungicide. We decided we're going to genetically modify things we don't know anything about. Can we actually improve what has already been created? And the answer is maybe, but not the way we've been doing it.
If you want to know what's wrong, look down at the table. It's staring back at you.
Think of it as chronic malnutrition, because that's what's going on.
But if we think we're going to go to the doctor and get a pill for everything, we've missed the whole point. We have been taught our whole lives to be consumers of modern medicine, which is pharmaceutical medicine. Good health makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of dollars.
Now, the drug industry has every right to make money, no question about that at all. The ethics, I think, need to be very closely watched.
What the pharmaceutical companies are doing may not necessarily be in the interest of our population.
You can be as sincere, and you can be sincerely wrong.
Approximately 106,000 Americans die from pharmaceutical drugs each year. And these are people who took the medication as directed.
There's a lot more turning to alternatives because what's being done beforehand doesn't work.
There is no magic bullet, but there is a lifestyle change that reverses serious chronic disease. It's cheap, it's simple, it's safe, it's effective.
The solutions are here. They've always been here. Every single person in the world, every culture, every language, every person in the world knows it. You are what you eat. Food does matter.
It's a choice. You don't have to be sick.
For a full-length DVD copy of Food Matters, go to grassyroots.com/food. And now, back to Grassy Roots on Channel 6 TV. Rejuvelac Review. What is Rejuvelac? Rejuvelac is a lightly fermented beverage containing many enzymes, vitamins, and proteins which all aid in digestion. Rejuvelac is made from grains, the most popular being wheat and rye. Why use Rejuvelac? The nutrients in Rejuvelac are broken down to their simplest forms, amino acids and simple sugars, making the nutrients immediately available for assimilation even for those with weak digestive systems. Rejuvelac is a living food which contains the full complex of B vitamins, which aid in the calming and rebuilding of nerves. Rejuvelac supplies valuable liquid to the body for flushing out toxins and for proper temperature balance. Rejuvelac helps cleanse the intestinal tract and helps with constipation problems. Rejuvelac contains friendly bacteria, which strengthens resistance to foreign bacteria. Some find it more refreshing on a hot day than a glass of water. Where do you find Rejuvelac? You make it in your own kitchen. And next is Dr. Ann Wigmore sharing her recipe for Rejuvelac.
Concentrate on making Rejuvelac. So we'll say that we soak the wheat. I generally soak much more than we need for that particular making Rejuvelac, because I like to put some of that in the refrigerator for the next time. So you can make enough for several times to make Rejuvelac. And then if you decide to make cereal, you have that ready in the refrigerator, not sprouting very much when it's in a cooler. So that's the reason we keep that on hand a lot. Now, this particular wheat I have here, I need about 1/3 of the wheat, a little bit more than 1/3. So I'll take some out. So I can put that in the refrigerator. So I need about 1/3 only. So that's ideally sprouted wheat for Rejuvelac making. So soak 10-15 hours, rinsed every day, and then in 2 days I have it already sprouted, ready for Rejuvelac and what else I need to make it. So I pour the water on. That's going to be the Rejuvelac. Fill it up full, as you see it there. That's been sprouting, sprouted for 2 days, a little more than 2 days, because I could see that sprout is much bigger than this particular one. Now this has been already soaking, and that will be soaking, making the Rejuvelac for 24 hours. And what I'll be doing, I'll be pouring out this into container, and then of course we will have this for the drink or use for blending. It has so many uses because it replaces the water, so naturally I'll be pouring more water in there for the next day, and then again the next day. That means I have used the wheat 3 times over and over again, the same wheat, same sprouted wheat. And again, why we have to have so much wheat Rejuvelac, and I have put some rye in it as well, but the wheat is much more sprouting kind of seed. That's the reason we do that. Okay, you can experiment with some of the other grains. So then I keep repeating that in sprouting, and continuously replacing it 3 times. So that is a finished. Anybody like to have questions on making Rejuvelac? I think it's a good idea. Sure.
How to make Rejuvelac? In a nutshell, fill your jar up to 1/3 full with wheat berries and soak in purified water from 8 to 24 hours. Drain and let the seeds sprout until you see the first tiny sprouts. If sprouting takes longer than a day, rinse the seeds at least once a day. Once sprouting has begun, fill the jar with water and let sit for 24 hours. By the second day, you should notice bubbles and a distinct fermentation smell. This is Rejuvelac and can be poured into another container and refrigerated. Add fresh purified water to your wheat berry seeds and let sit for another day. The process of adding fresh purified water to the wheat berries can be repeated up to 3 times before you should begin a new batch of Rejuvelac. Rejuvelac is a great addition to any green smoothie, and many enjoy it for its taste alone. Want to learn more about a raw living foods lifestyle? There's a wide collection of videos on the subject at ChiDietVideos.com. You can find a video on any subject that suits your interest and your budget, including rare footage of Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Food Lifestyle programs. This knowledge could change your life. Check out ChiDietVideos.com.
One of the best things terrorists could do is just build more fast food restaurants, maybe add another pharmaceutical company, have a couple more infomercials, and encourage people to eat the way they eat now. And everybody's going to be dead in 100 years. They can just walk right in, don't have to do a thing.
Superstars, large fry, Big Mac, Coca-Cola, go on, man. Pick your poison.
1/4 of what you eat keeps you alive, and 3/4 of what you eat keeps your doctor alive.
I used to get high for a living, eating all the bullshit food they sold me.
Cancer rates going up, heart disease going up, stroke going up.
We're poisoning ourselves with highly processed, nutrient-depleted foods.
One of the major problems is what we do to the soil and the air and the water and everything we take in, our food.
We, for whatever reason, decided we're going to spray everything with every kind of pesticide, herbicide, larvicide, fungicide. We decided we're going to genetically modify things we don't know anything about. Can we actually improve what has already been created? And the answer is maybe, but not the way we've been doing it.
If you want to know what's wrong, look down at the table. It's staring back at you.
Think of it as chronic malnutrition, because that's what's going on.
But if we think we're going to go to the doctor and get a pill for everything, we've missed the whole point. We have been taught our whole lives to be consumers of modern medicine, which is pharmaceutical medicine. Good health makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't make a lot of dollars.
No, the drug industry has every right to make money, no question about that at all. The ethics, I think, need to be very closely watched.
What the pharmaceutical companies are doing may not necessarily be in the interest of our population.
You can be as sincere, and you can be sincerely wrong.
Approximately 106,000 Americans die from pharmaceutical drugs each year. And these are people who took the medication as directed.
There's a lot more turning to alternatives because what's being done beforehand doesn't work.
There is no magic bullet, but there is a lifestyle change that reverses serious chronic disease. It's cheap, it's simple, it's safe, it's effective.
The solutions are here. They've always been here. Every single person in the world, every culture, every language, every person in the world knows it. You are what you eat. Food does matter.
It's a choice. You don't have to be sick.
For a full-length DVD copy of Food Matters, go to grassyroots.com/food.
You're not going to cook anymore? How will I live?
I didn't say that I wasn't going to cook for you anymore. I said that I wasn't going to cook the vegetables anymore. And I said we're going to cut back on the red meat for a while.
Where in the world did you get this idea?
I've been reading some of the articles that are posted on rawdoctors.com, and they make a lot of sense. You've got aches and pains, I got high blood pressure, and it's time that we did something about our health. So this is what I'm going to do. Come on, do it just for a little while, sweetie.
To learn what Susan has learned and more, visit rawdoctors.com. And now, back to Grassy Roots on Channel 6 TV. Next on Grassy Roots, organic gardening tips from Frank Colvin of Country Greenhouse to Garden. Hi, I'm here in the country with Frank Colvin again. Now we are in his greenhouse, and Frank, this is very impressive. And
Well,
you have more than one of these.
Yes, I have another one, a bigger one, next door here.
And right now we're surrounded by little baby plants.
Yeah, a lot of hard work too. But this is just the beginning of early season, getting ready for May, you might say. We usually start these off sometime in late January, early February, and this is about a month of growing, what you see here now.
A whole month for them to get that big.
Yes, that's about a month.
Wow.
Yeah, some things even take longer, like the peppers. You can see the peppers back here in the back. The peppers takes about 3 weeks just to come out of the ground. Tomatoes about 2 weeks, 12 to 14 days. Cabbage is the quickest. We've got some 3 or 4 different kinds of cabbage. It comes up a lot earlier, just 4 or 5 days cabbage is out of the ground and up, and because it's a cold crop. Cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower is one of your cold crops that everybody puts out early in the year.
Now I noticed that the trays each are like this is 6-pack.
Right.
And then over there you have
Some
some
4-pack.
little 4-packs
Well,
and some little bitty teeny ones.
Yeah, those are what we call plug trays. You fill your tray up with dirt. That one there is probably a 288 tray. It's got 288 cell holes in it. And you fill it up with dirt, make a little impression in the top of the dirt, put 1 seed in each cell hole, and then cover it back up with dirt, water it good.
Now you have a little machine to put 1 seed in each cell
No,
hole.
everything we do here is done by hand.
Oh my goodness.
We do it all by hand. Everything is done 1 seed at a time.
That was a busy day.
Yes, it was. Matter of fact, that's probably a day. No, we get, we just take our time and come out and enjoy it a little bit. And
It's warm in here.
yes, it stays about this temperature all the time. I don't know where folks can see it or not, but there's a big wood stove back here in the back that we heat with. We fire every 4 hours at night. Go to
You
bed.
have to come out here 4 hours and put wood in it?
At night, you have to come out every 4 hours and put wood in it. I usually go to bed around 11 o'clock. Well, you can go from there. Every 4 hours, somebody's got to come out, and 99% of the time, it's myself. I come out and fire the stove every 4 hours. You have to get up. If you go to bed around 11 or 12, then you got to get up at 4 in the morning, and then you got to be out again at 8. So once or twice a night you have to come out. That's from around the last of January to about the last of March.
Okay.
And of course,
And it rains in here.
just like a rainforest, when you got the fires right and then the water, all the plants are watered, then you get condensation, and it's just like a mini rain garden. It kind of drops on you all the time you're working. And
That's neat.
Yeah.
Now, a home gardener, if they don't want to start from scratch like this early in the year, they can come here and get their seedlings from you.
That's right. I've got them about any size you want, like the tomatoes, which is a big seller. You can come in now if you like the food with plants. You can come in now and pick up the small seedlings, take them home and set them up in a sunny window, and raise them to the size you want them
before you put them
in the ground. Or you can wait till about the first to the middle of May, and I'll have them up ready to go in the garden.
How do people find you? You're kind of out here in the boonies.
Well, we're out in the boondocks, but we get a lot of traffic. We get a lot of traffic, get a lot of word of mouth. I got a lot of good neighbors that puts out advertisement for me. I don't haven't advertised none except for a little sign out front. And
what's your address?
the address here is 10100 Calvary Road,
Okay.
which is about a mile on the east side of the county line on 208.
So you're almost Taylor County.
Almost Taylor County, right? But
Okay.
we're in Marion County. We've been doing this now about on this particular size. We've been doing it now about 3.5, 4 years, and really enjoy it. It's something different, and especially from my expertise. I was an engineer for the phone company.
Okay.
And then when you go from engineering for phone companies to this, then it's a different.
You're in a different place.
Right.
Yeah.
But and as you can see, we got flowers, and we have a lot of real pretty flowers come Mother's Day. We have hanging baskets.
Ferns,
We got ferns. We got we'll have petunia hanging baskets, and of course all the vegetable plants that.
I was going to say, it looks like you've got a large variety of vegetables and herbs too.
Yes, we'll have some herbs. We won't have the full run of herbs, but we will have a few herbs like basil and cumin and stuff like that. We'll have a small selection, and as the years go on, we may get a bigger selection. We're not planning on expanding a whole lot, but we are planning on getting a few. One thing that we do out here is if you've got something if we don't have it, we usually post a board outside one of the greenhouses here, and if we don't have it, then and you want it next year and you ain't been able to find it, if you'll just mark it on the board what you'd like for us to grow for you, we'll grow it for you next year.
Personal service.
Yep, we'll have it right here for you.
And that's the fun thing about finding your own local organic gardener. If your own garden fails, you have a fallback.
Right, right. Well,
if you need help along the way, you have a starter.
And one thing about organic gardening is if it fails early, then you can always come back and try again. We always keep plants all summer long.
Yeah.
When we run out, we reseed everything, and we'll have a lot of late stuff. We actually in the fall most of the time we throw and give a lot of stuff away in the fall.
Yeah.
Because we have some things left over.
Yeah.
But we do carry stuff most of the year, and once the greenhouse business slows down, those that don't make a garden, then we'll have a garden full of
good vegetables.
And usually tomatoes, corn, We even grow pumpkins, watermelons, stuff like that.
Into the fall, yeah.
Right, plumb up into the fall.
Well, thank you, and thank you for sharing. I'm so glad I came upon you. I was just driving around one day when I found this place, so I'm just really, like
well,
you said, it just
you found us.
Yeah, I found it.
Sort of the folks out there can find us.
And thank you for sharing your expertise with those who watch Grassy Roots.
Right.
And we'll be in touch some more.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Carey, and sitting in front of me is Dr. Ann Wigmore's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle Home Study Program. Dr. Ann's program has been taught for over 50 years around the world at a half a dozen institutes. Normally you go, you spend 2 weeks, and you learn to do the program. However, when I was director of Creative Health Institute, I found that after you go home, you've been home for 6 months, a year, all that knowledge starts to fade. There's a need for being able to refresh your memory and a need for keeping inspired. So, over the course of the last 6 years, I put together a home study version of Dr. Ann's program, and this is it in front of you. I know, it's a lot. It's a 304-page handbook. It covers everything from the kind of water to drink, through energy soup, to how you combine your foods. There's a 180-page recipe book that covers everything from a raw breakfast through a raw dessert after supper and everything in the middle. Even has Thanksgiving dinner, an all-raw Thanksgiving dinner with mock turkey. Her basic program is in this 10 DVD set right here. But as you get into it, you get into questions, and you know, it's always like about having a second opinion, about having more details, and that's what the rest of this program is. Over here we have the advantages of eating raw, a video I did, one by Paul Nissan, a couple by Victoria Butenko, including her famous one, Greens Can Save Your Life. That's a 3-hour video. I know it's Victoria's #1 seller. This is all part of the home study program. A couple videos on wheatgrass, a couple videos on sprouting and gardening, a number of videos about Rejuvelac, lightly fermented foods, and energy soup. A couple more Dr. Ann videos, her TV interview. These 4 here are all about the benefits of the lifestyle. This one called Program Review, for example, is an overview of the program at Creative Health Institute. Enzymes in food, living foods preparation, raw parenting, which is important to many people. Student testimonials, colon health, transitioning to raw foods, food combining with Dr. Pfeiffer. It's as thorough as I've been able to make it in the last 6 years. Oh, and I almost forgot, 2 of Dr. Ann's books on tape, read by a professional radio announcer, Steve Molkevitz, a naturopathic doctor that happens to believe in Dr. Ann, so that shows in his voice. I mean, that's a 5 CD set, the other's a 3 CD set. This is the most thorough thing you will ever see to learn about Dr. Ann's Raw Living Foods Lifestyle. It's available at SheDiet.com, and actually, when you go to the website, you'll find there's even more bonuses over and above this. Thank you.
You're not going to cook anymore? How will I live?
I didn't say that I wasn't going to cook for you anymore. I said that I wasn't going to cook the vegetables anymore. And I said we're going to cut back on the red meat for a while.
Where in the world did you get this idea?
I've been reading some of the articles that are posted on rawdoctors.com, and they make a lot of sense. You've got aches and pains, I got high blood pressure, and it's time that we did something about our health. So this is what I'm going to do. Come on, do it just for a little while, sweetie.
To learn what Susan has learned and more, visit rawdoctors.com. When it comes to obesity, it's not about how much you eat, it's what you eat. Learn more with Beth Overgaauw as she chats with Dr. Jim Carey on Grassy Roots TV, airing Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock on Channel 6 television. Getting back to the roots of healthy eating.